In today's podcast, we are delighted to have with us former American NFL football linebacker. He played football for the Tampa Bay. He also played college football at Taft College and Forum College. Today, we will unpack a little of his experiences, his story, in his own words, because your experience is your story. Welcome, Milton Thornhill.
You mentioned the Panthers, right?
Carolina Panthers, yeah.
Right. And you also mentioned Tampa Bay, but what about the Redskins? Didn't they?
Redskins Redskins gave me an opportunity. I got invited out. I forget who the guy invited me out. But again, when I went to the Redskins, I'm a changed person right now, coach. But back then I was very arrogant. And I went to the Redskins trial with a Cowboys shirt on. I don't know if that impacted anything, but by the time I got around to the Redskins, Redskins at that time wanted big backs. I was 215, 225 at the time. They wanted you to be a certain way. And I just wasn't interested at the time. I did get opportunity to try out for them and I was appreciative of it. But I don't, and you know how I'm about, when I talk about the NFL stuff, it's not for me, again, I'm not gonna slap it in the face because it's a great honor to say that you were even a part of, because it's a very few number of people that even get the chance to try. So to have the opportunity to go out, suit up and play and run around with some of those guys. But you find out real quick, it is strictly a business, man. You either can get in and cut it or you can't.
I think I probably need to ask you a question here because don't you have kids that play football, right?
Yes.
And so the good thing is that you have this experience, so you'll be able to guide him.
Yeah.
Should he end up playing for the NFL, you would have had your experience and your know-how to kind of guide him along. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I tell my kids, man, people look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm not that dude that push sports. My kids, they've done all the sports they went. Like actually both of my boys, man, I kept them around football. My best friend who he's at Carolina right now, I call him my brother, Tommy Thigpen. They've been around football all their life and neither one of them was interested. They were all my kids are basketball players first. And both of my sons, just for some reason, their freshman year decided they want to play football. I'm like, who? Like, where are you going to play? What's going on? But they were around it so much that they easily, my oldest son, he was very small. Like he's the one that I laugh at the most because it was one day he was a little kid and then the next day it was this grown man standing next to me. And I'm like, who is this? And he basically grew overnight. Like, oh, okay. Now, you can go play. And then he had a bunch of injuries and, he's a book smart kid. So he got into school academically and now he's doing IT and accounting and thinking about doing grad assisting, trying to figure out if he wants to do football or basketball. My youngest son is a basketball standout, but he's under 6 foot. And so the reason that he got interested in football is because a coach came out to see him, liked him a lot, and just said, we love your game, but we're kind of concerned about your height. But, oh, by the way, have you thought about, we know that you play a little football. What if you got a Division I scholarship playing football? Because right now they think that you have that talent. But if you get a Division I football scholarship, you can walk onto any Division I basketball team. And that lit a fire underneath him. And so now he's 50-50 on the sport. He's 50-50 on the sports. And so, I don't push him. My thing in my house, my wife is from India. And if you don't get your grades, you're not doing anything. You got to get your school grades and, make network of friends and pay attention to your uncles and friends that have businesses and see what they're doing. That's the life lessons right there. Sports, it's a blessing, but it could also let you down. So
absolutely. What position did you play?
I played running back.
Running back.
Yep.
So you got right the first year and you didn't finish.
Yeah, I had a high ankle sprain, and of course, you know anything about that, which I know you do. That just as bad as breaking it, and so with it being a no guarantee, and at that time Eric Rett was there, and so what can you do? And then the next year came back, and I hurt my knee. And so they were bringing in this dude by the name of Warwick Dunn. So, there you go.
I know.
Both standout guys. And, at that time, they weren't the championship Buccaneers. They had a lot of talent coming in. And, I was just a guy that, I was good, but they're not, they're not waiting on you. They got a season to go. So at that point, I realized I had an opportunity to go and do, at the time, World League football, but daughter, and it just wasn't, it just didn't make sense to me to be doing all of that stuff and leave her behind again, so I just bitterly stepped away from the sport.
And that's what I was going to ask you is, what was your thinking like at that time, considering, you have the potential, but then you got injured, how disappointed you were, but you just mentioned the word bitter, so you kind of get...
Yeah, it was just one of them things where you realize, at that time, it just hit you like, damn, here's another opportunity. For me, man, one of the recurring things is like, life has given me a lot of opportunities, man. And I just feel like there's a difference in taking advantage or abusing them. I didn't abuse the opportunity. I just didn't take advantage of them. I was just this guy, man, that I knew that my character, I'm a good person. People, I got along with people well. I could talk to anybody. I could hold conversation with anybody. I have this called a gift of gab. And so I could always find my way. And so nothing was really even it wasn't until too long ago, Coach, that I realized my passion was training, Like I honestly, man, probably been floating through life for probably like I'm 51 right now. Probably been floating through life, just figuring it out day to day.
It's always, the good thing is that you kind of find what your passion is. Yeah. And when you're doing what your passion is, then it doesn't feel like you're working.
Nah,
man. Because, you love that. So how important is winning to you?
Depends on which sport it is. Football, I hated to lose, but I was, like I said, I enjoyed basketball. Basketball was fun. Football, I hated to lose. But I don't think I was a sore sport about it. But I definitely I always kind of looked at myself first, like what could I have done differently to impact the outcome? Mm-hmm. And when you lose, it challenges you to again, you point the finger at other people. And I was always a guy. I was like, okay, what part did I play in that? Did I not do this? Could I have made a better play? Could I have made a better read? But one thing that I can say is, I didn't lose a lot. High school, we had a pretty good team. College, we were undefeated my 2 years there. I won a national championship at Taft College. Ferrum, we won, but we didn't. We won, and we just missed the playoffs. I think we lost like 2 or 3 games back then. And then when I left playing, I don't count pros because I really didn't do a lot of playing. But when I came back, I coached Hilton High School, and we went undefeated, won a state title. So I haven't lost a lot. And even with, my kids, when they played, my son played basketball, AAU basketball. He's had a very dominant team. Broad run football has been good, over the last couple of years. So we haven't really, experienced too much losing. But one thing that I try to always exercise is, okay, what you can look at other people, but what could you have done different? What could you have done better? How is your effort impact that game? And so, that's always been my basketball. Didn't care. Football, hated to lose, but never pointed the finger at anybody else. Never fussed with anybody. Just went back and worked hard. Just try to figure out what could I do to get better.
Okay, so we have a few more questions. Do you see not getting a major contract or with the NFL as a failure? And if so, why?
No, that's the case. There's a lot of failures out here, man. NFL is a league of few, man. It's only I couldn't even, that's like a fraternity,
So
you know.
you don't consider not getting a contract?
No, no, I considered it a honor and a big win for just someone even recognizing that I had the talent to even be considered. Like like you talking about the, you know, and you're an Olympian, so you talk about the elite of elite athletes, man. Like that's a small number of people that can say that they put on an NFL uniform, man. So just to be considered for it, you know, that's, you know, thousands of people trying. And I mean, college, like, you know, just to make a football team, man, there's a lot of teams out there, but there's only few scholarships and few positions every year that they give out. So, you know, I tell kids, man, D1, D2, D3, get in. Because
absolutely. And that's exactly what I tell the kids too. Well, let me jump to this question. Yeah. What are some of the lessons that you have learned from your football career that you would like to share with the audience? For example, how to handle disappointment.
I mean, with just not with just NFL, just anything, man. You just got to go, you know, when things happen, you just got to pay attention to what's happening. Sometimes, man, things happen for the good, like bad things for the good. You know, I always have this saying, you know, storms are coming, but storms doesn't mean it's rainy days. Sometimes storms is clearing bad stuff out of your way. And so I just always try to find, you know,
I like that. That's nice. That's a good saying right there, man.
Yeah, it's just one of
bad things out your way, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just tell people, man, and I'm one of those people now, man, that I just try to look back and say, what was the meaning? Because good things and bad things have meanings, and if you're not paying attention, then you're gonna go through
miss it. Absolutely, you're going to miss it. Yeah.
Are you ready for what's being placed in front of you? You know, and sometimes we're not, because we're so busy trying to get somewhere that we're not paying attention to what's right there in front of us, and we miss it. And, you know, you end up being put right back in the same spot, especially if it's meant for you to try to figure it out. But then you only have so many windows of opportunity. So, you know, life doesn't wait on anybody. So don't sulk over it, figure it out and keep moving. So
the other question would be, we know that every athlete, every professional athlete, they always have a big moment, right? What was your one big moment that, that special moment that you can say, yes, you could relive this moment? What is that?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when it.
It doesn't matter when it was in football. In football, is it when you meet this famous guy, or is it when you made this touchdown? Or
I think for me, the biggest moment for me was when I was in high school, my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. We, I think it was 86, I believe, 86. Yeah, 86. I'm going to date myself right now. But there was this program called the George Michael Sports Machine. And we had this big, I guess, tornado come through the area. Again, I'm not a, weather major, but I believe this area has tornadoes. And so it wiped out, rain and storm. And so all of our football games got postponed. And so they, back then it was our team and a team called Osborne Park that we had. It was, hold on for 1 second. We had 3 dynamic running backs on each team. And it was just one of those nights, man, where George Michael Sports Machine, it was Monday night game. Everybody was there because it wasn't nothing to do. All the local stuff was down, power was out, all over the place. And so it was just one of them nights, man. It was a special night, and I could relive that night all over again, man. We had, first play kickoff return, next play kick, then the 80-yard run. Like we were just going back and forth, and it was just one of those nights, man, that if you could put it on TV, it was just fun. They had 3 great running backs, and we had 3, and I was one of the 3. Myself, Donald Tisdale, and Leonard Williams, and then they had Victor Chambers, Vic Calhoun, Tommy Chambliss, and I forget the other guy's name, but they were all spectacular athletes. And we would just run up and down the field like it was a track meet, man. So if I could get to live again.
You could always relive that moment, right?
And that was one of the nights where I realized, okay, I can do this. Like we can do this.
Yeah. If you could change one thing from your past, say football career, what would that one thing be?
Just give it my all, like really be in the moment. I think, I was one of those kids that was just kind of going through, I was
the motion.
Yeah, like as athletes, man, sometimes we're called prima donnas, but I think sometimes, man, athletes are just so caught up in the moment that they're looking for that next day that they're not really in. And I can only put it to myself because I've always found this out. If you're not prepared, like most kids or most people that have a plan,
you didn't have any guidance, like somebody who could nurture the your abilities.
I had people telling me, I had people trying, but I can't put it on.
Okay, so again, you had mentioned earlier that is the stubbornness. It's you think you're all that and a bag of chips and all of that.
Yeah, I could figure it out. I can
figure it out myself.
Yeah.
All right, I have another question for you. Okay, so there's always a myth out there that athletes tend to major in physical education. What say you?
No, some of the smartest cats out there are athletes, man. We get, a lot of times you get the dumb jock. You get the guys that, you got people that feel like that people give you a pass. But man, you got guys that are doctors and lawyers and, are politicians. Like it, I know it's funny. I was talking to my son the other day. There's a lot of people that are handed things that shouldn't be handed things. And it's not always athletes, man. You got people that are working jobs right now that don't have a clue about what they're doing. And they're not athletes. I think a lot of athletes, man, people got to understand how many people can say that you can go to school, play sports, have to be somewhere every day and succeed. Like, athletes, man, like one thing I tell my kids now, I tell my college kids now, do you understand when you go, first of all, you're on their dime. So it's not promised to you. Even your scholarship is not promised because you got to perform. Then when you get there, you're on their schedule, which means that every morning you got to get up and go to breakfast check. Every day you got to meet somebody about study hall. Every day you have to check in with someone, weightlifting, meal table, whatever. Then you got to practice. Then you got to go and lift weights. And that ain't even your schoolwork. So you not only have to balance the everyday life of college education, you have to balance the demand of the sport that you play in. The education is also demand. You have professors that don't like the fact that you were athletes.
Absolutely.
You got people that's after you all the time trying to use that against you, wait to flip up. So, I tell cats all the time, man, when you pick a school, the first thing you need to do is visit the surrounding town. Because after that sport is over with, you're going to spend the majority of time outside of the university. Is that the place you want to go? Because the outside campus life is what's going to dictate how successful you are. You can't stay on campus all the time. You have to get on. Well, you can't. Most people don't.
Most people, right? You get a break.
But man, I heard the thing, shut up and dribble or stay. There's a lot of people, man. Like even when I'm watching, when I'm looking at social media, I try to stay off social media. But when I'm watching people like backseat drive and bash athletes for having a bad game, like, okay, let me take you to a practice and let me just throw you out there and see how you handle practice. Just not even a professional practice. Go to a college practice. Like go to a high school. Like if you never played sports in your life, I love listening to people comment and watching people backseat drive.
You see, that's why I have this program. That's why I did, the impact here is, like I said in the beginning, is that people only see the beginning and the end, but they don't know what goes on in the middle. So you just, this right here that you just said is quite clear, and I'm sure people will understand.
But one of the beauties of being a trainer, coach, and working with people's kids is a lot of times you have parents that come in and, you can see right away that you got parents that are pushing their kids to do things. And a lot of parents don't understand what they're asking their kids to do. But one of the beauties of being a trainer is I can always tell a kid in mid-session, say, hey, have your mom and dad join you to come out here for sessions. Let them go through one of the workouts. Because a lot of man, parents, I hear parents say, do this, do that, don't give up, don't, and I don't think it's, most of the parents that I have, they know me well enough to know that, you can't be mean-spirited to your kids. I don't mind you saying anything to your kids and, provide them, but when I have a parent that's being unrealistic, I'm like, Mom, Dad, come join us real quick.
No, not only that, but you have to run them away, get them out of there.
Well, I put them through it so the kid can see. Your parents are telling you to do something that they can't do. They have no idea what they're asking you to do. They have no idea what they're trying to they don't comprehend what, to run up and down and do cones and do burpees. And, you already went to school today and you probably just came from, athletes are going through some of the craziest stuff right now.
Oh, yeah. Especially right now with all what's going on. But let me just ask you this, because this is a good segue into, we have about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
In briefly, what's your definition of success from an athletic standpoint?
Whatever I tell people, set your goals, and if you meet your goals, then you're a success. It doesn't matter what other people think. Like if you get out of it what you want out of it, if you're an athlete and your goal is to get into college, if it's D1, D2, D3, then damn it, so it's not a lot of people put other people's definitions on things, and they try things to satisfy other people. And excuse my language, the hell with other people, because other people are not doing you. Like, it's crazy, man, that people try to satisfy other people's desires and have no idea what that even means. Like, you're living your life for somebody else, and all that's going to do is put you down a road of failure, because it's not your life. It's not for you.
So we know that coronavirus, is affecting the whole world right now. Do you believe that it has a major financial impact on athletes who are going through this pandemic?
I think financially, that's a tough question, because professionally,
they would have had a contract and all that.
Yeah, they got their money, and they're gonna be okay. Some colleges are really taking a hit because most schools are the big, the big 2 or 3 is basketball, football, and baseball. And so when you have these smaller schools that don't have the money to generate the revenue to come in to support other sports, yes. And then I think our high school kids, man, just because of the rule that a lot of these seniors get an extra year of eligibility, but the high school students don't. I think that throws the balance off of everything, man, because now you got kids that are late bloomers or unsigned seniors that don't get another opportunity to get the season back. And I think it impacts those folks heavily. But, everybody's going through it. So, but financially, man, I think colleges, some of the smaller schools probably get impacted the most. And of course, high schools, because, again, those are mostly booster driven sports, that take care of everything else. Some of these colleges, people don't realize that football pays some of these professors' salaries, especially
I know it's a really big thing, and you can tell from how this, when you look at some of the stadiums you can tell that that's where most of the money is going, or that's where most of the money comes from.
Exactly.
All right. So
people don't like to say that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually see it in high school too. I mean, even high school. Now, how much of a role did faith play in when you were going through your athletic career, your football? In a nutshell, We only have 2 more minutes.
I would say that faith didn't really come a big part. You know, I was I'm sorry, I'm gonna go over there 2 minutes, but it was more of a as I needed it type role when I was younger, you know, and I think that impacted a lot too, because you can't ask and take and not give, you know. And I think I was one of those kids when I needed something, oh God, please help me out.
Help me.
Promise I'll do this, God. Oh, don't take. I remember I got hurt one time, and
Yeah.
I thought I would never be able to play football again. And I was like, God, if you just help me this one time, man, I promise. And I didn't follow through probably on any promise.
But let me just ask you right there. Did he help you?
Oh yeah.
So he followed through on his promise. What about you?
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. God has probably given me more opportunities than I deserve, man. And I've learned. I have a very close. I tell you this all the time. You know this. I'm not a holy roller, but I definitely believe in God, man. Even to this, for me to be here in this facility right now, man, that's all God.
Absolutely.
I definitely know that without God, man, it's not possible. Like, and you gotta take time to definitely praise whatever your religion is, give time, and give back to others, and, let people know that, whatever faith is, that whatever God you believe in is out there for them, for you, if you want them to be. They're there, and they're gonna, whatever their will is going to happen, regardless if you believe, don't believe, trust, don't trust. But if you trust, 9 times out of 10, man, things are going to work out. But life is full of up and downs. And if you believe, then when times get hard, you have those good times to lean on and thankful for, and get through the hard times. And that's what it's all about. Be thankful through the hard times just as you would the good times, because it's all, it's coming back around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. All right, so and this is a good segue into your business. So tell us a little about your gym and the type of services that you provide.
Oh man,
if you have a website, or where is it located?
Well, I'm in Ashburn. The address is 21750 Red Rum Drive, just behind Lost Rhino and Gold's Gym. I think Fitwise is over here, right off of the backside of Wax Pool, Smith Switch, all that good stuff. My gym, man, is I'm partnered with Mr. Derek Green, who runs NBA track program, and it's a blessing being here, man. I wasn't prepared to be in here, and it again, God put it in my path, man, and it's worked out beautifully. The services that I provide is I'm a development specialist. I'm not a guy that's going to grab a kid when he's 13, 14 years old and claim him as mine. I work with kids in elementary school from K through whatever. I put my hands on them early, have them working on speed and agility, balance, flexibility, footwork, hand-eye coordination. And then I let the kids dictate what sports they want to play by just watching them move and suggesting things to parents, and then try to maintain a relationship with the parents and the kid to get them to where the kids are successful. And most of those kids they're probably with me from kindergarten through 5th, 6th grade. And then if they decide to lock in on a sport, we get them through the sport of choice for high school, which is typically 2, maybe 3 sports. And for those who don't, I typically just keep them just because they want to be in shape. So, I have the pleasure of working with a lot of college kids, a lot of high school kids. But my passion is, man, working with the young kids, man, because you see the development, see the talent. And to be able to say that you had an impact on that kid's development is very rare, because a lot of people wait until they see that their kid has went through everything. Like you said, they wait for the finished product, and then they jump on and say, oh, that's my kid.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I got kindergartens in here running around now, man, and it's crazy. I got guys that work with me for some of my NFL guys, and they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, man,
I know it takes a special, you have to have a special skill, or it has to be in you in order to be,
and for parents to trust me with their kids. That's a big thing.
Right, that's a
Like,
big thing.
being a parent, it's hard to trust people because everybody has a hidden agenda somewhere. My agenda, man, is to get the kids where they want to go. You don't have to desire to play sports at the highest level. I just want you to be able to go out and compete with your friends, man. Like, just go out and have fun and have confidence.
Have a good time. Have a good time doing it. Yeah.
Yep. Thing that I push, man, we walk a certain way, we move a certain way, we talk a certain. You can tell my athletes when we have them.
All right. We come to the end of our podcast. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out and being a part of this podcast. I know we probably going to have another one sometime down the line, because we need to talk about stuff like if we look into like college football or basketball, we realize that there is one dominant set of people that's playing. And so we need to be talking about those things as well, but we'll leave that for later on.
we could talk about a lot, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you having me on. It's a pleasure, man. And it was a cool opportunity to just sit and talk with you, man. As always, we can talk forever.
I know we can, man, but we have to kind of cut it short. So take care and thank you. And we'll be in touch.
Appreciate it.